Okay, so I understand what you're saying. Your problem is that you don't have any headlights at all on when you put low beams on, but when you click on the high beams, all 4 headlights come on. So what that means is, because this is a simple circuit and your relay works, because if your relay didn't work, you wouldn't get power through to here, which means nothing would come on regardless of what you did. So your relay is working just fine. You're getting power through to here, so these power wires, everything's fine there. Your low beams are coming on, so you're getting a ground. So your grounds for your low beams are fine, okay? And then your high beams are coming on, so this wiring connection through A, all of this is working just fine. Because again, your high beams are ground out through this path here, through your dimmer switch, comes to here and comes to ground. So then the question is, what's going on that on low beams you're not getting anything? And here's your answer. So again, the way the relay works is you have constant hot power here coming from your battery, your fusible links, right? And it comes down through here, constant hot over to A, or C, I mean, from your headlight relay. And what happens is that with your key on, you get 12 volts sitting right here at 6, but it has nowhere to go. So until you turn your headlight, your combination switch on at the column, you get no ground, so this is just constant hot. What happens is that as soon as you turn your headlight switch on, not to tail because that's empty, but to head, now you've created your ground circuit and everything comes down. Okay? So what's going on is you have a problem somewhere between pin 31 and this junction right here. Between here and here, you have a problem. The reason your headlights and everything is coming on is because when you pull your dimmer switch and you hit your high beams, you create a connection here, and now your headlight relay, everything comes and it completes this circuit. Right, so now your electricity, which is just sitting here, has a path to ground, which means your relay kicks on, applies power to everything, and boom, you're good. So normally what should happen is as soon as you turn your headlights on, it creates this ground circuit, right? And everything is fine this way. The reason this branch here from 32, the reason this exists is so that with your headlights off, you can flash your headlights, right? This is your dimmer switch, your passing switch, right? So without your headlights on, you can pull the column switch towards you and you'll flash your high beams. That's the reason for this circuit. And so what's going on is because this pole and this pole are tied together, that's the reason for that dashed line. When you turn your high beams on, you create a ground circuit for the headlight relay. Okay, so on low beam, your headlight relay is looking for a ground, but it can't find it because there's a problem, again, between 31 and here. Okay, so that's why you're getting everything coming on when you hit high beams. Okay, so the way to check and see what's going on and where your problem exists is when you go to this junction block. Okay, you'll have to look in the factory service manual to find out where this is. Okay, that connector B7, which is here. Okay, it's a big old connector. Okay, so you're looking for pin number 31 on that connector, and when you find the location of that connector, is that pin right here, right? So when you find B31, it'll be a red wire coming out here. You want to check for voltage here, okay, to make sure there's not a problem inside the connector. Corroded connection, something funky going on, right? You should have it. So you should have 12 volts sitting here with your key on. And then you come over here to B11, which is your column switch, and you check for that at pin 6. And you should have 12 volts sitting at pin 6. If you have 12 volts here, but nothing here, you know you've got a break in this wire somewhere. Okay? If you've got 12 volts sitting here, and you've got 12 volts sitting here, then you know the problem is the column switch. Okay? Because everything, or the connection between here and ground, right? And I don't have anything because that's going to be inside the switch. You'd have to disassemble the switch and see how this works, and I haven't done that yet. But you know pin 1 works because you're getting the ground through your high beams. So this portion functions just fine. Okay, so either you've got an issue with the column switch or you've got an issue between 31 and 6. So hopefully that makes sense to you. Let us know.